I know I did a showcase on Ian Machado Garry already, but that dominant performance he had against Carlos Prates was just truly amazing. I felt we should do another showcase on him. So, here we are. The way he was able to control the distance and just mix up the grappling and introduce that grappling threat on top of his, superior kickboxing. And he was even outboxing Prates, which I didn't expect at all. His past 3 fights, he looked a lot slower and didn't really look as athletic as he did before because he was switching to some plant-based diet. So he's not getting, the necessary nutrients for recovery, most were saying. So, to see him out there really fast again and just lighting him up with boxing combos, keeping that rear hand busy with his high kick so he couldn't really set that up, really shut down his game plan for Ian Garry, I assume. He was trying to put him against the fence, and that's where most of Carlos Prates' work comes from, is trapping them, behind that black line. He wasn't able to do that. He wasn't able to keep up with Garry's speed, distance control, and, he was mixing in the grappling, so that definitely took energy, for Carlos Prates to be scrambling and all that stuff too. So, yeah, it was an amazing performance, though. He poses a lot of problems to most of the welterweights for the most part. Shavkat was definitely able to beat him on the feet because, he does have the grapple threat himself. But with Carlos Prates, you're not expecting any takedowns. You're not expecting anything like that. So it would make sense he was just very comfortable on the feet, not worried about a takedown. With Shavkat, you don't really know. But I definitely think he's improved drastically since the Shavkat fight. Probably taking his first loss, made him lock in even more. And it just showed in this fight, He was really locked in, stuck to his game plan the entire 5 rounds. And in every scenario, you would want to win like this, where you're able to pretty much dominate your opponent in every which way for 5 straight rounds. That's better than getting a quick knockout because there's no excuses, Carlos Prates had 25 minutes to do something, and he couldn't do anything really. There was a point in the fight where he was about to ground and pound, Ian Garry, but he was able to survive and, win the decision. For the most part, I see people saying Garry was boring, but Garry was creating more of the offense and threw way more than Carlos Prates did. Like, I think when they're going into the 3rd round, Ian Garry landed as many strikes as Carlos threw within a 2-round rate, which is crazy. He just wasn't throwing much at all. So he just kept stifling his rhythm. That's what I believe happened, from using those kicks to really keep the rear hand busy, couldn't set it up the way he wanted to. Plus, guys, you got to remember, we didn't see Carlos Prates against any other level of competition. So, this was his first time facing somebody really good, like a certified top 10, top 5 guy. And this is his 6th UFC fight, so I don't think this is too shameful for Prates to lose. I mean, the fact that he had such great takedown defense was really great to see. He defended many takedowns, really deep single legs from Ian Garry. Then he trains in shoot box, with Charles Oliveira and all those guys. So his grappling has gotten tremendously better. He does live in Brazil, I believe. But yeah, when we're using him in the game, it's a little bit harder. Footwork's not as easy to use. I mean, you got like a Jeff Neal I'm facing right here, where my footwork doesn't really matter. He's just going to stick to me for the most part. So, yeah, he just went AFK, I guess. But this is why I don't play this game as much as I used to, is because, look at the damage. Look at how many unanswered strikes this guy gets to eat before I knock him out. Look at that. I still don't get a ground and pound sequence or a finish. I had to hit him another knee, another combo. And this is why I can't take the game as serious as I used to. But hopefully with UFC 6, they fix it. But we're going to be facing a JDM. Jack is mainly known for his boxing. He has some pretty good kicks too. But for the most part, if our opponent's going to be successful, it's going to be in the pocket. So we're going to try to keep our distance as much as we can. Our opponent does try to grapple us though. But it's fine. Ian Garry's pretty good with grappling himself. So we'll showcase some grappling here in this fight. He tries to go mount. We denied left. Try to go full guard right there. I was going to do a fake, but he just postured up. Just trying to see what he's going to do. It's pretty much a guessing game with the ground and pound. The way we defend ourselves. So we deny right there. Deny again. And we have full GA pretty much. So we're going to go for back sitting. I just want to see where he's going to go. We're going to deny left. I'm going to wait for my GA to pop up. Look at that. It pops up. And we immediately go to full mount. Just taking our time. I got top control now. I have 3 minutes to work. I got some submissions to work with. I got, dominant position. Top position, of course. And yeah, we're just working the body right here. This will definitely add up in the fight if you're grappling somebody for most of the fight. Those punches to the body, even while building GA. Look at that. We're going to posture up right there. Hold L1, R1, flick up. Hold L1, R1 again and flick right or left to gain side control on either side. That's something you do when you have about a 10% stamina, short-term stamina lead after like a denial from the full guard on top, of course. So it's not too bad. So if you get a denial where they just lose a bunch of stamina, that's when you should posture up. Or sometimes people on the bottom of full guard, they punch too much and the short term is gets low. So you'll just posture up and basically, hold L1 and R1, flick up for stack guard. Same thing for the side control. So we're just beating up the body from this position. This position does a decent amount of damage. I don't want to get stood up. It's only 1 minute and 40 seconds left. All right, so right here, we're going to move away from JDM basically, and then rotate our stick down, and that's how we just did that back drag right there. It takes us right to side control. He goes up, we deny. We're just basically beating up this body. This is going to pay dividends in a fight that is a 5-rounder, if it does go to 5 rounds. So, still taking my time. We deny him right here. Probably going to try to move. We do get the position. It's about 40 seconds left, so we'll try to get back mount. Look at that, we get back mount. He rolls over to full mount. We're going to posture up, try to get some damage done. Look at that, we end up rocking him. We're going to posture up, hold R1, L2, and flick down. As you can see, that gives us a free armbar transition right there. We deny him, we're able to lock that in right before the end of the first round, so that's perfect. With the rock, control time, and submission, that could even possibly be a 10-8 round for us in round 1. We hardly lost any stamina. We didn't expend much energy in that first round, so we should still be looking good. We didn't get our body touched up, nothing, so yeah, we already got a decent stamina lead. So I just continue to use my distance, my teeps, smaller strikes, counter when I can. Trying to have a style where I'm just not throwing as much, I was enjoying comboing up better, but for me, I just don't enjoy the game like that. It was cool. I was able to win a lot more doing that, but I just rather work it into my own style rather than switch my whole style completely. So, if it does get me losses, I don't really care. I just don't have fun throwing 200 strikes around with Connor. That just doesn't feel realistic to me at all. But yeah, look at that. We already dropped him right here. He's just throwing crazy overhands. It's not looking good. The stamina's getting lower already. Look at that. He gets rocked again. Throw a knee up the middle. He ends up ducking into it, just trying to hit the body. Hit him with a nice kick. Block counter right there. Still just taking my time with him. There we go. Just working in some body straights, using the jab to work my way down low. Nothing too crazy, but they, like I said, they do add up. Considering we're already in control of the round, it doesn't matter. We end up slipping that and landing a nice uppercut. Yeah, we're having a little fun this fight. I was just annoyed by some of the previous opponents I was facing, so just wasn't in a good mood. So I was like, let me get this showcase done. So I could just do something else because, sometimes when you get frustrated with a game, it's just boring. But I'm very impressed with Garry's performance, though. Let me know what you guys think about the fight or thought about the fight in the comments down below. Definitely a great fight night card from top to bottom. I enjoyed pretty much every fight. Just still piecing him up, and right now it just looks terrible for him. Dropping him again. just still taking our time, and we ended up knocking him out with a block counter right there. Hope you guys enjoyed the showcase. Stay tuned. More content is on the way.